Welcome to the road to $1 million in crypto live stream, where I'm going to document my journey over the next 300 days to see if it's possible to become a crypto millionaire. Now, if you're new, my name is Ash. I'm an entrepreneur and I believe in financial education because that is the only way you and I are going to build financial independence. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join me on this journey. This is day 15. Let's start. Alright everybody, welcome back to the spreadsheet. And before we kick off today's stream, let's go ahead and fire off a couple tweets and messages. So let's head over to Twitter. We are going to send some messages on the Twitter to try to get more people to see our post, and hopefully we will get many more people on this live stream, but it is highly unlikely. I don't think it will happen, but anyways, let's try. All right, let's see. Dear at Fishswap at Ketchup at Prism Finance. Shill. P.S. We're live. Hashtag BSC. Hashtag Polygon Network. Polygon. Hashtag crypto. Hashtag investing. Hashtag money. Hashtag DeFi. Hashtag 1 million. Awesome. And tweet. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and let the group know as well. So we're live, folks. We're live. Awesome. Excellent. Ooh, we got about 20 people in the Telegram group. By the way, guys, if you are new here, I want to say a very warm welcome to you. We do have a Telegram group in case you are interested in asking questions off stream, chatting, just getting to know each other, that sort of thing. Feel free to check that out in the link below in the description. And what you're looking at, by the way, is my OCD-ness, which has manifested itself in the form of a very complex spreadsheet. From all my experience as an entrepreneur, I have learned that I have to know my numbers. And so that's something that I'm hoping that I can potentially also teach you to do in case you are also investing in this space. Okay, so the same goes for anything in business and investing. You have to know how much you're making, how much you're losing, how much you're spending. And a spreadsheet is a great way to do that. Some websites help you do the same thing, but of course, I prefer to just build it myself, and that way I know exactly how to control each aspect. Okay, so in case you don't have your own spreadsheet, feel free to use mine. I'll have it linked in the description below. You can have that for free. Just delete my data and you can put your own data in there. So you'll have all the formulas and the graphs and all of that stuff. All right, guys, let's give you a quick snapshot of what we are looking at in terms of the profitability of the last 24 hours. Now, excuse me. Now, I have... Okay, so let me back up just a little bit here. In case you are brand new, you're just discovering us for the first time, let's give you some context. So why am I doing this whole $1 million live stream? What is this whole thing about? Is this clickbait? What's the purpose behind this? So I've been an investor now for about 8 years, and I've had personal experience in the traditional financial markets. I've also been an entrepreneur now for about 5 years or so, and so I also have some experience there. Through lots and lots and lots of hardship, lots of losses, as well as lots of gains, I've learned a few things that make sense over a long period of time, or in other words, I've learned things that are more sustainable than others. And so one of the things that I'm hoping to do with this particular series is to build a community of people who want to learn about finance and who want to build financial literacy. Okay, that's the first thing. I really, really genuinely believe in this, because I don't come from a wealthy background. I don't come from inheritance or anything like that. Every single thing I have right now has been built through very hard work over time. And so I'm hoping that this particular content on a daily basis will show you or give you a little bit of a glimpse as to what that looks like, and so that you can also be empowered to do the same thing for yourself. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, throughout this journey, I will be exploring the new technologies that we currently have access to right now, which is decentralized finance and cryptocurrency, right? But more than that, I'll also be exploring the blockchain technology, the underlying technology that really powers this whole ecosystem. And effectively, what we're doing together through this whole series is seeing how the world is going to be shaped through this technology. So there's always a deeper meaning, a deeper level, a deeper kind of understanding to this whole piece of content, as opposed to just making money, right? That's cool, that's awesome, but also, like, it's to give you a glimpse as to what the world is going to look like in the future. And so that's a really exciting thing. I'm very, very excited about that. The other thing that I'm hoping to show you here is diversification and how powerful that can be. Not having all your eggs, proverbially speaking, in one basket, putting all your chips in one container, whatever proverb you like to use, whatever metaphor you like to use, not depending on just one sole income stream, but rather building over time multiple income streams that can get you to that goal that you're after. All right, so we've set a pretty audacious goal. We've set a pretty big, crazy task ahead of us, and I just want to make it clear that I could completely and utterly fail at this. And I could make a fool of myself, and I could have people ridiculing me, but I could also succeed. And I'm hoping that if I succeed, you can also succeed if you are going along this journey with me. Okay, so that's going to be a really fun, really awesome opportunity. So a little bit about my context here. What you're looking at is a series of investments that I've slowly built over the last 6 months. I started out in mining cryptocurrency, specifically on the ET hash algorithm, aka Ethereum, as you might know it. And I used, of course, some of that profit after paying off my graphics cards, used some of that profit to buy ASIC miners that mine on the SHA-256 algorithm, which is Bitcoin. And so that makes up the first category that you see here, which is in investment number 1. So that's currently ongoing, right? The second category that I have invested into, you could say, is decentralized finance. And this is made up of 3 different vehicles. The first being Ketchup Finance, which is doing really badly, by the way, but we'll talk about that today. The second is Fish, which is awesome. That's the cash cow right now. And then, of course, Prism Finance, which we just started a few days ago. All right, and so we'll go over those numbers, and like every one of my investments, I want to show you that it's possible to start small and build gradually over time. Okay, so in other words, we're making our money work for us, and that's the whole purpose behind this. So that's the kind of second category. That's investment 2, 3, and 4, decentralized finance, aka yield farming. Okay, and then the fourth. The next category here, you could say, is are projects that I believe in long term, and so these are coins that I'll pick up, and they might be things like VeChain, ADA, Dot, of course, ETH and BTC. You know, so lots of different projects. However, this particular category here is excluding ETH and BTC. So you see a small amount of money in there. Then, of course, liquidity. And so the liquidity is really what we want to build as quickly as possible, because the more dollars we can mint and turn into stable coins, the more liquidity we can have to buy into other projects and thereby exponentially increase our earnings. And so that's something that I'd like for you to think about as you play this game, okay? How can we get in and get out of projects really quickly so that our money is always working? It's not just stuck, it's not just stagnant, it's always working, okay? So overall, what you can see here is an earning of about $14,000. Now, this is by no means the best that it's ever been. In fact, I would argue that that's been a lot higher, but of course, because of the drop in the market, we are seeing a lower amount there. And of course, net. So this is really, really important. You can never, when you're understanding how business and investing works, you have to always take into account not just income, but also expenses, okay? And so that's something that I'm hoping that you will learn by me tracking this. They are real expenses, and so it's very important for us to always make sure we account for that on the balance sheet. And so this is, like, you could say, a little balance sheet here. Now, the idea is that we are now netting about $4,000 after expenses, which is pretty cool. It's pretty nice. But let's actually go in and look at the real numbers, and then we will continue. Okay, so this is the first platform, aka Fishswap. So let me just sign in here to my wallet, and let's just click on the refresh button, and let's click on connect, and let's click on Binance Smart Chain. Awesome. Okay, so in case that's too small, let's make it a bit bigger so you can see. And yeah, so over the last 24 hours, you could say that we've been doing about $117 on that. So let's go into the spreadsheet here, and let's write down the amount. So today is the 7th, so that means over the 6th, we minted about 935 tokens. 935. It's definitely coming down, of course, that's normal. So just keep that in mind when you get into these pools. The more people that provide liquidity, the lower the APY, annual percent yield. All right, here's the next one over, which is Ketchup. This is it's not as great as it could be. It's not as great as it should be. But you could see there we have minted about $4.83. But the best part is we don't have any liquidity in there, so that's really cool. So basically that's just pure profit, just interest earning interest on its own without my principal. Okay, so that's really cool. And let's go ahead and write that down in the Ketchup section, which in this case would be 47 tokens. So as you can see, that also came down considerably. All right, but anyways, that's how life is. Unfortunately, what is the APY now? Okay, about $2,970. Yeah, and as you can see, I don't have my DAI in there anymore, so that is gone. That is gone. And then, of course, the last project that we are invested in, but not the least, is the Prism Finance. And I wanted to diversify to kind of test and compare how both chains perform. And so I just want to show you guys how that looks for now. Let's go ahead and put in my MetaMask password. Okay, so we are on the Polygon network right now. Polygon is another blockchain, by the way, in case you are unfamiliar with it. It's fast. It's probably as fast as BSC, and it is a lot cheaper than BSC. But anyways, we took a very, very severe hit here, As you can see, totally to be expected, by the way, in case you are surprised about this Prism price, totally to be expected, okay? It was, before the farming started, it was over $120, and then it just went crashing down. That's why we never, if possible, we never buy the governance token, okay? We never buy that. But anyways, let me just show you here. We have about 1 Prism token. So let's go into our Prism section and write down 1. And here let's just put in the correct value, which is obviously a lot lower now, 2.8. 2.8. Unfortunately, it's 2.8. So it came down. Oops, let's go in and modify that formula, 2.8. As you can see, our Prism profitability is down, unfortunately. Let's just drag that formula down there. Okay, so about $2.80 on the Polygon network there. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see that. It is big enough, I think. Yeah. So about $2.80 on the Prism network. Let's go ahead and check the Binance Smart Chain side. Let's switch to BSC. And let's change over to Binance Smart Chain on MetaMask and click connect. And as you can see here, we are minting a few more tokens, which is nice, but the coin price is also down. So we're around $1.55, but we have made about 2.5 tokens. So we're going to compound that in just a sec. So here we'll go over and we'll write 2.5. What is it? 2.56 tokens, 2.56, which is slightly lower than yesterday, but hey, that's the price you pay. That is the price you pay. All right, and this is $1.55, $1, oops, times 1.55. It's just some calculus here, you guys. It's very important to make sure you understand how those numbers work, so that we have an accurate representation. So if I were to zoom out here just a little bit, you can see that's represented in a graph. And obviously I just have like 2 days worth of data, but you can see that our total earnings so far for the 2 days are about $15, which has come crashing down from its all-time high. All right, so that's something that's unfortunate, but that's how it is. Still, it's technically free. We haven't broken even on our deposit yet. You could say our deposit costs in the range of about $40. So the moment we get to about $40, that's when we can say we've broken even. We haven't done so yet, so unfortunately we've got to keep going. And then the rest of it's basically free. All right, so let's go back here so you can see what the dailies look like. So as you can see, my daily rate, after adjusting those values, my daily rate here, I don't know if you guys can see this, should be clear. Yeah, so my daily rate has dropped a little bit. It's dropped to about $185, which means one of two things needs to happen. Either I need to add more liquidity, or I need to find another project. Okay, so remember we were right around $200 yesterday because of the drop in the token price and the drop in the APY. We are now slowing down, and we don't want to slow down. Yes, over time we're gonna mint a lot more, but that's of course if we have a lot of liquidity to go with. Right now on Polygon we just have under $1,000, and on Fish we have about 2,000 something dollars. Fish is definitely performing the best for now, but in terms of daily earnings and daily run rate, you could say that we're lower, even though we made more money for sure. We made about $100. We are certainly a little bit lower, okay, in terms of daily averages. So that's something that I'd like to maybe try and fix very, very soon. Okay, let me actually head over to the comments section here and see if anybody's saying anything. Yo, we got some people in the chat. Welcome, everybody. So I have 7 streams of dreams income in the chat. Welcome to the live stream. I appreciate it. Excellent content. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Just hope that it is valuable. That's all. Oliver is also in the chat. Welcome, Oliver. Do you pay for power where you are? Yes, I do. I have to pay for power. It is a little bit cheaper. We work off a tariff type of arrangement here. So when you're under a certain threshold, I think it's about like maybe, let's see, what is it? Maybe like under if you're like under 1,000. If you're under about 2,000 kilowatt hours per month, the rate is around maybe like 5 cents or 6 cents per kilowatt hour. If you're the next tier over, so like another 1,000 kilowatt hours, maybe like, you know, like under say 4,000 kilowatt hours, then it gets bumped up. The highest tariff that we'll pay is about 10 cents, give or take. But then we also get a surcharge on that, so it depends. That's why I actually had to switch off some of my Bitcoin mining farm. About 3/4 of the farm is off right now because of the drop in profitability. Yeah. Right. So, have you heard about the book named "The Wall Street Era is Over: The Investor's Guide to Cryptocurrency, DeFi, the Decentralized Finance Revolution"? I have not, but that sounds really, really cool. Let's actually check it out. Let's check it out, you guys. So, what is it called? The Wall Street Era. So let's see if I can copy and paste that. It might be a little bit easier. The Wall Street Era is over. All right. By the way, I love reading. Part of the reason why I sound like I know everything is because I read like 50 books a year. So I definitely think it's a good idea to get into the habit, you guys. Get into the habit if you can. Ooh, very interesting. So let's see here. The Wall Street, okay. The Investor's Guide to Cryptocurrency, written by experts at DeFi Yield app. Ooh, very interesting. Okay, so let's read this very quickly. On December the 1st, 2020, I lost $1.2 million. Oh my God. I know exactly how that feels because I was also invested in the traditional markets last year, and I had to like basically pull out after losing. This amount was just some of the 12 million total that was lost in one of the biggest scams to hit the yield farming industry. Oh my gosh, this is not about traditional finance, this is about yield farming. Since then, I've worked tirelessly to track down scammers. I've employed the help of blockchain investigation agency, built a community of over 600 victims, and filed claims in major finance jurisdictions around the world, including New York and London. So why, you might ask, am I writing a book that encourages you to take part in an industry where a scammer can run off with other people's money? The answer is simple. My losses only tell one small part of the story. Okay, that's very interesting. Who is this book? Who is this for? Who is this book for? Is this for you? Let's find out. So this book has been written for anyone who wants to take advantage of the enormous opportunity that DeFi provides, but is wary of the financial risks that come with it. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Always make sure you guys do your due diligence, do your research before investing in anything. As we delve deeper in the book's second half, we will thoroughly explore the DeFi's yield farming sector, also known as liquidity mining, which is what we're doing. You might be a complete novice who has never who has never bought cryptocurrencies before. You might be a fledgling yield farmer who wants to learn from an established player who's seen it all. Perhaps you're somewhere in between. Guys, I think this is really, really cool book. Thank you so much for the recommendation. I am going to make sure that let's take a quick screenshot here so we know where to find it. All right. And let's move the screenshot out of the way so it's not blocking the screen. And yeah, I love reading. I think that's an awesome recommendation. And I think that the best way we can succeed at this crazy this crazy audacious goal that we've set of $1 million in a year is to educate ourselves as much as possible. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Hey, YG is in the house. Welcome to the chat, my friend. I appreciate you joining. APC is here too. APC, welcome, welcome. Mr. Is there any new project? Yes, there is. And let's before we do that, let's go ahead and compound our investments, because, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, one of the techniques that I'm using to get to that number, that crazy $1 million number in less than a year, give or take, is through the power of compounding interest, okay? So everything we earn every day, we're not spending it, we're not cashing it out, we are reinvesting it. Super risky, by the way, especially if a platform can tank. So you might want to consider thinking about what I'm doing and thinking about what you want to do. And please, please, please always make sure that you don't just follow me and copy what I'm doing, but rather you try and understand what your goals are, okay? Because, at the end of the day, we're all different. I always say to people, only invest what you think you can lose. And so I think that's really, really important to consider. So we're just gonna go ahead and harvest some of this fish from the farm and from the pool. All right, there we go. And this one here, let's go ahead and harvest that as well. And then we'll put it back in. So should have just like 900 something right now. 944. All right, not bad. Okay, and then we'll put it back in. And we are basically at the level that we were at before we withdrew that $1,000 to get into the other projects. So by the way, this would have been worth another $1,000 had I not withdrawn some of that liquidity to get into some of the other projects. So definitely keep that in mind as well. You can, if your money is locked up in there and you don't want all of it to be locked up in there, feel free to move it, feel free to cash it out. That's what I'm doing. That's how I am playing this game. Okay, and this one is kind of expensive, but anyways, let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so we're in Ketchup. Let's go ahead and click the harvest button. They really should have a compound button. I don't know why. Excuse me. I don't know why there's no compound button. Let's go ahead and put it back in and pay the 2 gas fees, unfortunately. Jeez, look at that gas fee. 0.003. Oh my gosh. That is exorbitant. Crazy high gas fees, you guys. Crazy high gas fees. How much do I have here? I've only got about $14 left, so I might need to consider getting more BNB very soon. All right. So we are up to about 829 in Ketchup here. It's still, like, if I had about $1,000 in liquidity, I would definitely see a much higher return. So, I might consider it. I might consider like jumping in, because that price has been pretty stable at around 9 cents. Oops, that was the wrong link. Where is it? Dex Guru. Let's have a look at the chart, you guys. By the way, we will definitely be doing another tutorial very soon on chart and technical analysis, in case you have no idea what this is looking like or what this is all about, etc., etc., etc. Anyways, so we started excuse me, we got into the Ketchup system right around here. Okay, and of course we did not buy any Ketchup tokens. We just used our stable coin as liquidity, minted all those tokens, and then reinvested it back into the system. Okay, and so that has resulted in a obviously, when they started, there was a very fixed limited supply of about 250,000 tokens, and so that was pushing the price up as people were trading. As you can see, it went up to about $3 there, and then of course, as predicted, this started to tank. And that's why I always say never buy the governance token, especially on a yield farm. If there's a fixed supply, let's say the supply was capped at $250,000, I'm sorry, 250,000 tokens, then, you know, feel free to buy as much as you want because it is fixed. But since, you know, of course it's a yield farm, we want to be careful. Okay, we want to be careful. So we are here right now. As you can see, there've been lots of like pump and dumps, but they recently announced a partnership with Fishswap, which has started to push price a little bit higher, which is nice. As you can see, let's just zoom in here. Okay, so we did see a high of about 11 cents and then some selling, and you could say that the bottom is right around 7 cents. So let's call that a support line. Let's go ahead and just measure it here. Lowest point was around 5 cents, but I'm thinking like 7 might be like around 6, between 6 and 7 might be a support line right now based on what people are invested in. But it seems to have stabilized right around 9 cents, which means that if we wanted to, we could potentially, I mean, I'm not saying do this, but we could potentially jump in and like 10x or 20x our daily returns by just buying the Ketchup token now that it's already kind of proverbially crashed, if you like. Again, you know, I'm not saying do this, I'm not saying don't do this, I'm just saying that's a possibility now, because I've seen that over the last few days we've been hovering around this whole 9 cent range here. But again, we want to make sure that we are safe at all times. So if you want to play the long game, which I think is always the best game, you can definitely do so. But if you want to take advantage of that 3,000% APY, or rather, what is this? APR. Okay, so that means around 8% per day. Very, very, very healthy return. Very healthy return. Much healthier than Fishswap. If you got into this main pool here with, say, $1,000, $2,000 worth of liquidity, right now it's not worth putting your stable coins or any other coins in the other pools. I mean, yes, they are pretty high compared to like the traditional markets, but I personally think that if you're after, you know, like some serious gains, this one right here is probably the one to go with. Yeah, so that is that. Let's have a Prism and do the same thing. So let's go to pools and let's harvest some of our tokens and pay that super expensive gas fee, which actually is a lot cheaper here. Wow. I mean, I'm impressed. That gas fee is certainly cheaper there. We'll take a look at another project in just a sec, but let me just make sure that we have extracted our Prism. Okay, there we are. We've extracted our Prism. Yeah, and then the same thing here as well. I mean, that price is still continuing to tank. When it gets under $1, maybe under 50 cents, then we could potentially look at buying the token. But for now, I wouldn't touch it. To be honest, that's still going down. If you buy it, you will lose your the value very, very, very quickly. As you can see, like keeping my stable coin in here, I'm only getting like 2 tokens a day. Not the best. I mean, if that price went up, that would be nice. But if I want like some serious gains, you could say, I might as well just take that money, buy the Prism token, and stake it in there at 13% per day. And so that will bring in a much healthier return. So let's say, what is $480 times 13.2%? That's about $63 a day with just this liquidity in here. So, you know, that's very risky though. And so, you know, to each his own. All right, so let's head over to where are we right now? So we need to actually harvest this. I don't really want to pay that gas fee, man, so I'm just going to reject that. Click on farms, click on pools again, and I'm just going to put in Max. Gas is expensive on Binance Smart Chain, you guys. I mean, it's not expensive. It's just more expensive than what you would pay on Polygon. So let's actually switch over to Polygon to show you what that looks like and why the gas the whole gas situation is so exciting. Switch to Matic, click connect, MetaMask. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and harvest. Yeah, so same thing here. Same thing here, that coin price tanked very hard. And so if we bought the Prism token right now, we could potentially take a very huge hit, because that was around $5 yesterday. If you watched the live stream yesterday, that was around $5. So it'll probably go to like $1 tomorrow. So yeah, super risky, you guys, super risky. It hasn't found the bottom yet. So, you know, be wary if you plan on buying. Right now, the easiest way, as you can see, not much liquidity in there as well, because people are definitely, people definitely understand that it's a lot safer to be in here. All right, so anyways, let's harvest this. Let me show you what the gas fees look like. It's super cheap. All right, look at that, 0.00017 Matic. All right, let's actually show you what that looks like in terms of calculation, in case you are not familiar with the Polygon Matic network. And that's all the craze these days in the cryptocurrency world. What is it, 1.5 right now? 1.57, give or take. That's around $0.0002. Very, very, very cheap. Super cheap. Fractions of a penny, if you look at it in like US money terms. Okay, so there it is. It's extracted. So let's go ahead and do the same thing here. Let's actually first compound that. So yeah, if you had like 1 or 2 Matic, that should be enough for the entire month, compared to like Binance Smart Chain, which is, oh man, right now with all the projects I'm currently invested in, it's not that cheap, you guys. Probably around like $75 a month, maybe, to just like pay the gas fees. It's crazy. All right, cool. So I've added my liquidity in there, which is only worth about like $5 or so. So yeah, I mean, technically I could take the risk. I could like spend that money and like try to mint as much as I can while praying and hoping that the Prism price does not tank, but it probably is going to tank. Oh, it's probably going to tank really hard. Anyways, so that is how you compound your investment, in case you are wondering how does this whole compounding thing work. So all we're doing, guys, is we are harvesting into our wallet, and then we're taking and putting it back into the pool. Okay, so that's basically interest, working on interest. All right, so APC says, is there any new project? The new one that I'm kind of looking at right now is this one right here. But of course they are down. Oh yeah, so this is actually, let's actually announce this and address this right now. So Gregor's Finance, which we looked at yesterday, if you didn't check it out, please make sure you go back and check it out on yesterday's live stream on demand video. They were scheduled to start today. Their farms were scheduled to open today, but they did make an announcement a couple hours ago that they would be trying to fix their protocol because it was handling some kind of gas fee incorrectly. Okay, so you might have to wait a little bit for the farm to open until they get the site up and running, and then you could probably jump in. If you want to follow the latest updates, make sure you check on their Telegram group. I think that's the best place to check it out. But yeah, in case you are interested in finding any new projects, right? DappRadar is a great place to look. DappRadar. Yeah. So this is a great place to look for any new projects. I would probably just head over to the DeFi section in case you're interested in finding something. Okay, and then of course you can just browse through here. Of course you can also potentially filter. Let me just make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see. So under each project, you'll notice that there is a token ticker symbol. So this basically tells you what network that project will be running on. Right now, I typically avoid all things ETH. I avoid all things ETH. And the reason for that is because of the super high gas fees, right? I know that gas fees are crazy on Ethereum because I'm a miner, and whenever gas fees are super high, I get paid a lot more. So that's super risky, very risky, especially if you're compounding. Very, very risky. You need lots of ETH to pay for those fees. Very expensive, very expensive. So BSC is, of course, the next best thing to ETH. But then, you know, if you want to go a step further, you can always just check out like Polygon networks. I'm not actually seeing any on here. Matic. Nope. Token. Nope. Right. Let's see. Exchanges, maybe. Yeah, I don't know, you guys. I don't know. So discover, track, analyze, DeFi rankings, portfolio. Yeah, that's all I seem to see here. But anyways, check out DappRadar if you guys are interested. That's where you can definitely find some really interesting projects. So let's actually just kind of address what I am interested in. So I think that personally, I am in a position to, you know, within the next very, very short period of time, you could say maybe a month, 2 months, probably closer to 2 months, get to about $1,000 a day, right? In just doing this process. I think that's very, very doable. 60 days time, I think it's very, very possible to get there. Once you're there, and this is just by reinvesting and reinvesting and reinvesting, not necessarily finding moonshot projects. But, you know, what happens then once you get to like $1,000 a day, right? So I was just doing some math to kind of quantify what it would take to get us to $1 million. And right now that's looking at, you could say roughly about $3,000 to $4,000 a day. That would basically, if we weren't compounding every single day, getting to just $3,000 to $4,000 a day, if I'm not mistaken, probably closer to $4,000 a day, would give you $1 million in 12 months, even if you were not compounding, right? And so just keeping that number in mind, you can kind of work backwards to see what you would need to have invested in order to make those kinds of gains. So for example, right now I'm doing about $120 on Fish. If I wanted to get to $1,200, I just need to 10x the amount of Fish I have invested. All right, and so once I get to 10x, provided the interest rate is still relatively close to what it is right now, no problem getting to $1,000 a day just on that one project. And so applying that over several projects that have a similar kind of system, similar kind of protocol, I think it's definitely going to be possible to hit our target. But yesterday somebody asked, you know, what would I do if I got the $1 million? What would I actually cash it out? What would I do? And I addressed this question, but I'll address it again. And this is something that every one of you probably should be thinking about for yourselves, right? Our goal is not $1 million. Our goal is financial independence. So what does that look like for you, right? Is financial independence not having to go to work anymore? Is financial independence being able to buy whatever you want? Is financial independence going to mean being able to pay off all your bills, being able to pay for your school? Like what is it for you, right? Like you could say that I'm very alternative when it comes to business and finance. I'm very much part of the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early. which actually reminds me, if you haven't checked out our podcast, Fire Grinders, definitely check it out. We might have a new episode dropping like in the next day or two, as soon as I get down to editing that. But that's me, right? I really believe in getting to that level where you don't have to depend on a job. And I suppose lots of things kind of mentally prepared me for this journey to make that my goal. And so for every one of you, it's going to be different, right? So always kind of ask yourself, if you're going down this route, what is the goal that you have in mind, right? Forget about the money. The money is just an enabler to help you achieve the goal, right? So for example, I'm a dad. I want to have more time with my kids and my wife. I want to be able to, provide anything they need. Of course, I'd like to give them a home, and lots of different things. So it's going to be different for every person, and so having access to a little bit of that that money, not all of it, not $1 million, but having access to a little bit of that money could potentially give me the kind of freedom that I need right now, so that I can achieve the other things in my life that are important to me. And so when you're thinking about this journey, like most people just think, okay, I want to buy stuff, okay? One of the books that actually changed the game for me. And this was when I first started in business, probably around like 2015, 2016, which, by the way, I started selling my artwork. In case you didn't know this about me, I'm a professional artist. So, creating and selling at Comic-Con was the first business. And so as I was doing my paintings, I started listening to these audiobooks. And the audiobook that I listened to that changed everything for me was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Highly, highly recommend you guys check it out. Highly recommend it. Okay, everything that he presents in the book, take it for what it is. The advice and the strategy and the knowledge that he's presenting are more important than the story. So of course there's lots of controversy around whether the book is like real or not real, but the actual principles he's teaching are undeniably life-changing. And so I highly recommend that you guys read that book, so your paradigm starts to shift when it comes to how you think about money, right? Because just having lots of money doesn't mean we now want to go and spend all of it, right? Definitely want to understand the inner workings of money and what it can do for you, right? Let's see. Shredded Bra says, what book? The book is called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I'll actually put it up here on the screen. This is the other part of the education that I am hoping to teach you along this journey. Oh, cool. If you live in the UAE, you can get it for 39 dirhams. All right. I personally really prefer this on audio version. So if you have an Audible account, it's so much nicer. All right. This is the cover, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It will probably change, if not at least impact your life and the way you think. I highly, highly recommend you read it, because some of the things that he explains are so obvious, but of course we take it for granted because we're so caught up in the rat race, as he calls it. And so that's something that I think is going to be important for you as a young investor or a new investor, or somebody who's just starting out in business. Something that you really want to do first and foremost is change your mindset. Don't just think money is going to change everything for you, because money will just give you more of what you already have. All right, let's see if we have any other comments in here. Mr. Alexander is in the house. Welcome. What other new projects are there and not a scam? Okay, so yesterday we addressed some things that you could potentially look out for if you're shopping, Okay, so let's say I want to get into a yield farm that's paying an amazing APR, right? So let me show you what you could potentially look for. Let me share my screen here. So let's say, for example, I wanted to go to, let's go to Lava Cake, and have a look. All right, so Lava right now is $1,427. Crazy, man, crazy. Okay, this is up and coming. The yield farm will start very soon. But anyways, what you really want to do when you're looking is not what people are saying, but rather what the developers are saying, right? So how do you find out what the developers are saying? You get over to the docs section. Usually this is their roadmap, their blueprint, their white paper, all of that jazz. And this is probably the most important piece of research you need to do when exploring any platform. You know, everyone always says, do your own research, do your own research. This is how you start, right? You go over here and you take a look at some of their features, their tokenomics, and their mechanisms. So what should you look for? The first thing that you should always consider is your cost factor, right? And so right off the bat here, they talk about a transfer tax of around 7% and a slippage of around 8%. That is freaking high. That's really high. You know, so, I mean, obviously you can determine whether that's something that you want to do or not, but that's pretty high, right? In most projects, slippage is under 1%. And of course, taxes, I don't think taxes are like 7.5%. No way. No way. Excuse me. So yeah, that's something that you need to consider. Automated burning. Okay, so here they're saying that we're going to burn about 30% of that tax. Okay, I'll have to quantify that for you in just, oh yeah, 2.25%. And they're basically going to, the 5.25% tax gets added to the liquidity pool through the contract automatically to raise the price floor continuously. Okay, so that's cool. That's interesting. That's innovative, because what you're in effect doing is you are helping the platform grow by becoming a liquidity provider. You're not just minting the tokens and raping the platform. You are effectively helping to increase the stability of the platform. And so that tax gets reinvested back in, gets locked for a period of time. Let's see what it says here. Is there a lockup? Lockup. I don't know what the lockup is, but anyways, we will find it soon, I promise. Okay, so here's another feature that makes it really interesting. Transactions more than 0.5% of the total supply will be rejected. As the total supply grows, the ratio will also be reduced. So that's pretty huge. Okay, so if you have like 1 million tokens, okay, let's actually do this math here. We're all about numbers, you guys. 0.5%. Okay, so if you had about 1 million tokens in supply, in circulation, let's say each token cost about like, I don't know, it tanked all the way down to like $100, right? It's currently at 1,400, tanks all the way down to $100. So it means you have 5,000 and you want to now sell that 5,000 tokens. So you effectively would be selling about $500,000. But what they're saying is they will reject that because they want to protect the investors. So that's like an anti-whale mechanism. And because they seem to be intentional about this, they're also potentially going to charge you a high price impact if you sell a lot of the token. I'll show you what that means in just a sec. Actually, let's show you what that means right now. Exchange. Yes, I understand. Okay, USDT. I don't know if it'll be true, but anyways, let's see. All right, so let's say I have some lava. Let's say I have 1,000 lava and I want to sell my 1,000 lava, right? And so that means I'm expected to get back about $30,000 for my 1,000 lava, right? But notice what I'm going to get is about 27,000 or something like that, but the price impact share is 97%. This is huge. Oops, sorry. This is many people like completely overlook this. Very, very important. Very important. Okay, so this is basically the amount that you're going to lose. Okay, it says, yeah, you might get like $30,000, but if you're paying like a price impact, let's actually look at what it is. So what 1,000 tokens times 1,700. What is it? $1,400? I think it's $1,400. Where is it? 1,427. Okay. So 1,000. So that's over $1 million, right? 1,427. Let's say hypothetically you wanted to cash out 1,000 tokens right now. That would be worth $1.4 million. But notice you're only getting $30,000, and that is because of this crazy thing called price impact. Okay, it's real, people. It's real. And this right here is an anti-whale mechanism. So it prevents, or rather discourages, whales from dumping the token and liquidating, or potentially liquidating or crashing the whole market. So yeah, that's interesting. I mean, if you are going to be a long-term investor, that might be a very interesting thing to have in place. What I'm interested in is the tokenomics. Okay, let's look at security. All right, so let's say you are somebody who's paranoid about hacking, you're paranoid about rug pulls, you're paranoid about scams and all of that stuff, right? So you can see here that, for example, on the lava cake white paper here, they're telling you that, okay, if something happens to lava cake's front end, such as DDoS attack or temporary outage, farmers can still withdraw their tokens by direct interaction with the master chef contract. Very, very, very important. Very important. And so, you know, that helps protect investors, and obviously they're not telling you how to do it right now, but they probably will tell you in the event of an emergency like that. So DDoS attacks are definitely possible, but they're saying that, hey, you can get access to the master chef directly. Okay, and so they kind of show you actually how to do it here. Do an emergency withdrawal, blah 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 blah. Okay, so they kind of show you how to do it, which is nice. Migrator Code. This is another one to look out for in case you're doing like an audit on a platform. If the site has removed the Migrator Code, the devs, the owners will no longer have the ability to move all the liquidity onto a private wallet whenever they feel like it. Platforms that still have the Migrator Code in the code base, they have the right, or there's the possibility that if they feel like it, they could just move all the liquidity into their own wallet, and everybody would basically get scammed and get ripped off. And so by removing the Migrator Code, that helps to protect investors and give them more peace of mind. So that's really, really important. Let's see. What else? Time lock. Okay, time lock is another good one. It says here delay 24 hours. So I think that what that means is that if you have liquidity in there and you're trying to potentially, I'm actually not sure what this means. We will add the time lock contract as the owner of the master shift before farming starts. Okay, for the way I understand time lock when it comes to platforms like this is that your liquidity gets locked in there for a period of time, cannot be moved to any wallet or anything like that, right? So those funds are fixed inside of the pool. They cannot be moved. And also, individual investors might not be able to withdraw their funds whenever they feel like it. So if somebody wants to jump in and jump out really quickly, they're saying there's going to be a time lock in place which prevents you from doing so. Okay, you can still harvest and compound, but you might not be able to like withdraw your liquidity right away in case you like say mint 1 million tokens and then you want to just go and dump it. It's not going to happen. So yeah, interesting. And of course they've got audits here if you want to like check the more technical details. So all in all, I would say that is a good way to go if you want to see how secure a site is. Of course, you know, any of this stuff could be made up, so you also want to look at the audit reports and the technical data before you decide to put your money down. Okay, this is called due diligence, and it is your responsibility. Okay, so please always take some time, 5-10 minutes, read their white papers and their documents, look at the audits, and see if you can kind of wrap your head around it, and then determine whether the risk is worth taking. Okay, but our strategy is how can we get in and get out as quickly as possible, and then have the interest work for us for free. So that means our original principle is not affected, and that's something that I am hoping to train you on as well. All right, let's see what else is in the chat. All right, so Alexander says, yesterday you watched Gregus Finance now open. It is already closed. Actually, Alexander, it's not closed. The site is just down for maintenance at the moment. So it will be up very soon, but they're just working on some of the code in the background because I think investors are being charged too high fees or something like that. Okay, Alexander says, now my money is invested in Ketchup, Caramel, Marshmallow, and Bunny, but APR has dropped very much and the price does not go up. Yes. Okay, so this is to be expected, right? It's just economics in many ways. There is only a finite amount at the moment. There's only a finite amount of, you could say, investment in the total market cap, the total crypto market cap right now. So it's not like new people are constantly coming into this market. That might happen over time, for sure. But right now, the people who are investing in these projects are the ones who have invested in other projects too. Like for example, I always start out with my story and show how I started investing in ETH and BTC mining. I still hold those coins. I'm an investor in those coins. And then I started to slowly diversify. And so just keep that in mind. One of the reasons why the market is not growing, one of the reasons why these projects are not growing exponentially is also because the existing users in the marketplace right now are the only ones participating. So you're not going to see incredible growth very quickly. This is very much a long game as well, right? Some of these projects probably just came out. And most of them are copycats, right? Most of them are forks. They are clones of PancakeSwap or whatever it is. And so as a result, the only incentive they have in terms of marketing is obviously high APR, right? And so by us buying into that hype, we potentially put ourselves in that situation. It doesn't mean it's not true. It doesn't mean it's not real. We can still absolutely make a lot of money doing this. We're kind of feeding that quote unquote demand, which is what they perceive as demand. And so if people are seeing lots of liquidity or lots of money go into these projects overnight, of course, more developers will come up and they'll say, okay, let's make more forks and more forks and more forks. And the cycle just keeps repeating. People don't just leave all their money in one pool, they move it to the new pool and the next pool and the next pool. And so, I mean, that's kind of how it is right now. So we want to try and play the long game and see if it's possible to make it in this space, but we don't know for sure. Bantu Viking is here. Hello, Bantu Viking. Welcome to the stream. My comments are not showing in the chat. I am not sure, actually. I'm not sure. Bantu Viking says, yes, and for lava, you can only harvest on Sundays. 11/11. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I did not know that. So maybe that's their time lock. You can only harvest on Sundays. Anyways, guys, I've been rambling on and on and on. And so I think that we have had a really good session today, which is why I'm really excited to tell you about our project. If you're somebody who wants to start your own business, I'd love to invite you to our free workshop where we'll teach you how to create and sell your own online courses. The workshop is totally for free. We'll show you how to go from zero to sales in 60 days. This is my personal core business, Blue Brain. I started this company 3 years ago, and we empower creators all over the world to create and start their own online course businesses. And so if that's something you'd like to check out, make sure you head over to the description and click the link. You can join the workshop for free. And guys, I want to say with that, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me on today's live stream. It's been a pleasure. We did kind of explore a lot. There were some really important questions, like around security and that sort of thing. And so definitely be safe with your investments. I'm very, very hardcore when it comes to protecting my investments, and so I want to always make sure that I feel 100% or at least close to it confident before I jump into an investment. And when I do so, I want to be certain that if that money just goes away through any unfortunate circumstance, that I would be okay. Okay, so what I'm saying is I'm not putting in more than I can afford to lose. And that's something I want you to also consider. Don't put in more than you can afford to lose. Definitely do not buy the hype or FOMO into projects. Always do your research before jumping in. And yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really cool, really successful journey. I'm really excited to go on it with you. By the way, these are all my wonderful social media handles in case you haven't followed me on there. I'm going to start posting on there as well, so make sure you follow me on there. If you liked the video, please give us a big old thumbs up. It tells the algorithms across all the different platforms that this content is valuable. And if you haven't subscribed, please do that as well. It tells me that you like this content. We also have Telegram groups, so feel free to join that if you haven't done so yet, where you can ask any question or share any information that you want to in the group. And we're all a community, so we all participate together. With that said, guys, I want to say thank you so much. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next stream. Take care.